First up, a call from Matt in Lansing, Michigan, who needed help saving his remodeling business after racking up $260,000 in debt. Let's take a listen.
So I am 24 years old. I own a remodeling business doing about $750,000 a year with 6 full-time employees. But I have $260,000 in super crappy debt. And I don't have enough cash to get the projects done that we've got on the schedule right now that we've taken deposits for. So I'm trying to figure out a way to kind of get out of this without filing bankruptcy or taking on more debt just to survive.
Okay, so wow. Have you been losing money on these projects?
We have.
So your estimating sucks.
Estimating did suck. We've in the past 3 months since I started diving into this, we've increased our gross profit from an average of 18% to like 35.5%. We're still going up from there, but we're kind of drowning in the past mistakes.
Okay, what is the what kind of debt is the $260,000 in debt?
Yeah, so we've got about $185,000 in debt to the bank. So that's going to be credit cards, a merchant cash advance, term loans, lines of credits, a couple of trucks. Then we've got about $72,500 in vendor debts.
Okay. Okay. So, how many jobs are underway right now?
We have 5 jobs underway as we speak.
Okay, and they've all given you a deposit and you've begun work.
They've all given a deposit. We've begun work, but I made some super silly decisions and didn't have a lot of financial clarity when I took these deposits. And so a lot of those deposits went towards kind of cash flowing the business and making up for losses on past projects. We're starting these ones from behind the 8 ball.
Okay, so you don't have the money coming in unless you add a new project to pay payroll. Right?
Yeah, we've taken between 30 to 50% up front for all the projects we're working on now. We've got a few more in the pipeline. After we learned the lesson, stop taking deposits up front and using them for other stuff. But we'd have to rearrange a schedule to push those projects ahead to actually make any money to really get to the other projects.
Wow, what a mess. All right, so unless you take other projects, you can't make payroll and you can't buy supplies to do the current stuff underway.
Yep.
Okay, because I'd be fine with not paying the bank, and I'd be fine working the vendors. So the 260, I can just stiff arm that if I can get these jobs completed. What do the 6 people do?
So we've got 5 that are field labor, installers, carpenters, and then I've got 1 project manager.
Okay. Do you have access to any micro 4-day projects that you could put one of these guys on that turns some cash right quick?
Yeah, we've actually got a couple on the schedule. We pushed one up last week that we got knocked out. So that helped us, make payroll for this week. So we're trying to secure some more of those. But a couple of these projects we're going to be probably $60,000 short on as far as labor and material goes after those deposits were gone. So we'd have to do quite a few small projects in a short time period.
Yeah, you're going to have to, and or you're going to have to take supplies on credit.
Yeah. Which the struggle with that is, we've already done that, and we've got these big vendor bills that we can't pay.
So they're not likely to let you go pick up a bunch more stuff. Yeah, they're going to put you on COD pretty quick.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so one of the 5 projects, the smallest of the 5 projects, how much was the deposit and what's the total size of the project?
Yeah, so that project, we're going to wrap that one up today, but that one was an $18,500 project. We took half up front about 4 months ago.
So you're going to get the other 9
Right.
today,
Right.
hopefully. Okay. All right. And that's going to help you make payroll.
Yep.
So now we're down to 4 projects.
Yep.
Okay. Because the way we turn this is we survive the stuff that's on the books that you screwed up the deposits on, the remaining 4. And the way we survive those is we generate enough cash from micro projects and side projects to make payroll and complete the existing projects. What's the largest of the 4?
The largest of the 4, and this one is absolutely ridiculous that I did this, but it's a $256,000 home addition. But we took half up front for that and used that to float the business for the past 6 months.
Okay. Wow. All right, if we take that one off the table, that leaves 3. So what I'm trying to do is choose my pain, okay? Because those people are probably going to sue you before this is over. Because I don't think you're going to finish that one on time anyway. They're going to go ballistic at some point, and rightly so, actually. But okay, the other 3 projects, what size are they? Because I'm going from 18 to 256. You're all over the map.
Yeah, so then we had a kitchen remodel that was $90,000. We took half up front for that. Same thing, used it to make up for losses on past projects. That one we're going to wrap up next week. We've taken progress draws throughout that project, so we're going to get that one knocked out. But that one comes with a vendor bill of $45,000 for the cabinets. My fear with that one is if I don't pay this vendor, they're going to go ahead and put a mechanical lien on that client's house.
Yeah, and you don't have 45 more coming because you've already taken other draws against the second half.
Right.
Okay. All right. So how much do you have coming on that one?
So that one we've got $9,000 outstanding, which will cover the remaining payroll to get it knocked out.
Yeah, probably not. You're probably going to give a lot of that $9,000 to the vendor and work a payment plan with them on the balance, telling them what's going on. You got any more cabinets you're buying from them?
Well, we're supposed to buy cabinets from them for this home edition that we've got also.
Yeah.
But we actually found the same cabinets at a different vendor for about $8,000 less. So we're going to switch over to a different vendor anyways.
Yeah, okay. But I'm just saying, you're probably not going to get any more business out of them.
No.
Once you put them on a payment plan and give them $5,000 towards their 40 and go, hey, I'm trying to save this and I'm trying to keep from filing bankruptcy, so work with me here. And I'm going to send you money as quick as I can. I know I got to get this cleared, and you add them to your 72 vendor list, basically. But you work out a deal with them so they don't file the mechanics lien. All right. So that gets us down to 256 plus 2 other projects. Oh my gosh, what are the other 2?
The other 2 is, one of them is a bathroom. We just started that one this week. That's going to be another 4 weeks left on that. That one we should actually have enough coming in from the project. We only took 30% up front for that one. And
Wait a minute, you started this week and you spent the deposits this week?
No, we spent the deposit. We took the deposit for this one about 2 months ago. So that deposit was gone. We just started it this week.
Why did you wait 2 months to start?
We were just booked up that far with bad projects.
Okay, so that one's how much again?
So that was a $45,000 bathroom. We took 30% up front on that one, but the remaining draws on that will cover all of the costs for materials and labor.
Okay, so you can run that one out. You can run that one out. Yep. So then that only leaves one more.
Yep.
Because the 18's done, the kitchen's done, the bath you can run out. You got the big 256. What's the number 4 one?
The last one, that one's a whole house remodel. It was a $186,000 project. She's mostly paid up. She owes us about $6,000, and it's going to cost us about $9,000 to finish it over the
So
next.
almost done.
Yep, this one's almost done.
So you're out except for the 256
Right,
and some cabinets.
right, and a few other vendors.
Yeah, I mean, you got the 72,000 worth of vendors. You told me that, but I'm talking about we're adding cabinets to that, or we're adding a portion of that $40,000 cabinet bill to that, and then you got the 256, which is a freaking disaster, and the rest of them you're done with.
Yeah,
and you're finishing all of these projects. They're all coming to a head.
Yep, we're going to finish all those. The cabinets.
So why not take new projects and run them properly?
Right. Yeah, I mean, once we clear these last few, and we've just got the big one.
No big ones. I want you to kill rabbits, not elephants.
Sure.
I want you to turn stuff in 2-week turns, and let's just start generating cash at 40% margin. 2-week turns. Don't take anything else big and long. You can't afford it right now. You can't handle to sit on the deposit, and you need to take a deposit, but. You don't need to take a deposit, but in your business, you should take a deposit. But, yeah. So you're out. You've made it through, except for the 256 is what we're saying, and some cabinets. So, yeah, go take a bunch of short-term projects and then prioritize as you finish those and you clear, you take a $20,000 thing and you clear $6,000, $8,000. What are we doing with that? What are our priorities? Well, our priorities are payroll and truck payments. And then vendors, and bank is last.
Right.
Credit cards can jump in the creek. I don't care if your credit goes bad. Screw it. You need to clean up that mess. But and then so if you do $1 million, that's going to make you $400K in the coming 12. You could clear all of this in 12 months. But you're going to have to learn to do short-term stuff, and you're never going to manage cash the way you did, because this is way stressful. I'm stressed out, and it's not me.
Absolutely.
It's no fun, man. I mean, really, you're not having any fun, Matt. Whew. Yeah, so you have learned your lesson. You'll never do the misuse of the deposit again, right?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, you run these jobs as separate standalone businesses. They're separate P&Ls. You job cost everything back to the job, and you keep all the money in the job that's on the job until the job is done. And only then, if there's money laying there, do we clear it and move it into general fund.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, you already learned that lesson, though, I think, haven't you?
I did.
Okay.
I did. We did start job costing and treating the funds as separate.
Yeah. Yeah, and so you got to run it. You got to run. Yeah, I think you're in the quick turn, small ankle biter stuff where you make 40% and you just do a whole bunch of them. And if you can't get enough of those really fast, you may not be able to keep all 6 people.
Right.
You'll have to look at and force rank those guys. But if you can get enough to keep them busy and you're making 40% on everything they're doing, you're not only making the payroll, because that's part of the cost of the job, your job costing their hours, but you're making a 40% profit. And so, yeah, if you go make $500,000, that's $200,000. $200,000 gets you out of this mess, because you could clear your vendors and you can finish the 256. The bank is still going to be sitting there looking at you, but you got to work, and you're going to have to work through them. But that's a longer term issue.
Yeah, they're kind of aware of the situation actually, and they've been super cooperative. The bank already.
Yeah, because they're screwed.
They don't have a choice.
They don't have a choice. Yeah, the only thing they act proactive they could do is pick up your trucks.
Right.
But other than that, they're just screwed. And so. Yeah, and don't factor any more of your receivables to them. They don't get any more liens on your stuff.
Yeah.
They're sitting on the sidelines. They get paid after we stay open and move our way through this 256 job. And then after we start clearing those vendors up, cabinet people included. And then bank is last on the list. Credit cards are last on the whole list. Trucks would be at the top of the bank list. Following me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because it's going to take them longer to get to you and screw up things than the other people we're talking about. So,
Right.
yeah, can you line up $500,000 in the coming 12 months, $500,000 to $800,000 in the coming 12 months of small jobs that are 2 to 3 week turns?
Yeah, in the next 12, yes.
Yeah.
Obviously we learned that I am not good at managing the large projects, and we lose money on them every time. So,
Well, you can manage them. You can learn how to manage them, but I don't want any more. I don't want any projects of any size I lose money on. This ain't a hobby. So, you need the quick cash turn that the large job, even managed well, does not give you.
right.
I don't need you taking draws on that large job in addition to the deposit and redeploying those draws. That's what got us here. So instead, I just want completion, profit in pocket, and profit then applies to mess. Is that working?
Yeah, makes sense.
One more time. You think you can get 500 to 800K of 2 3 week jobs?
Yeah, in the next 12, yes.
Yeah. And then if you want to go stick your toe in the water on larger jobs 18 months from now, you can pick one up maybe. But there's a lot of money to be made in those small bathroom jobs and the 3 week turns on a paint job or, whatever, without taking on a complete rebuild.
Yeah, absolutely. They're our highest gross profit projects anyways. We should have been focusing on them from the start.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it's okay to have a product mix 5 years from now that includes one department or area of the company that does the large stuff, while we've got the other thing over here making bank on these small turns. The small turns are also a lot more front office work per dollar. So, it takes as much effort to sell a small job as it does a large job, for instance, almost. I that's what I'm going to do. I think you can turn this. You've got to prioritize where every dollar goes, and you've got to start generating some cash. And so what we did while you and I were talking was we just said, okay, this is an elephant. It's a mess. How do you eat an elephant? A bite at a time. And I started going through every detail and said, okay, here's a bite. Oh, that job's done. Oh, that job's done. Oh, that job's done. Oh, and we can get there, and we got this one problem with the kitchen. Oh, okay. And now we've got the 256s, the only thing left outstanding, plus the 72 and the cabinets and the 260 or the 185 bank stuff. So you can get there, dude. But that's how you've got to approach it, because if you look at the overarching thing, like I was doing at the beginning of our conversation, it's overwhelming. It was overwhelming me. I couldn't figure out how you're going to make it. I just about told you to punt. But you're not punting. You're going to make it. You can turn this, but you're going to work your butt off and pay for your sins by having no life for the next 8 months. You're gonna just and you're working for everybody else. You ain't working for you. You're working for the mess you made, and you can clean it up though, and you'll be glad you did. And it's going to take you. This is a very profitable business when run right. Second remodel call in this show. One highly successful, one almost bankrupt. There you go. But remodels both of them had the potential to make a 40% margin. Whew. Don't you just wish in some of your worlds you could do a 40% margin? Hello. So there we go. Yeah. So you can do this, Matt, but it's going to be a lot of work, and you're going to have to be very focused on every little detail and not let someone else reset your priorities once you put them in place. You force rank who gets money when, and if somebody doesn't like that, toughies. They're going to get their money when they get their money. Maybe you lose a relationship with a vendor permanently, but that's different. You're going to lose it when you file bankruptcy anyway. So you might as well pick out who's going to be mad. Decide who's going to be mad and why and what power they have. And, mechanics lien or take the trucks or what's the downsides? Wow. Very, very interesting, dude. Very interesting. I think you can do it. Hey, holler at one of our coaches, and if you need some help as you're weeding through this, I bet one of them could walk with you through this.
Man, that's a hard one. But Matt's doing what real leaders do, facing it head on and learning as he goes.